he rewrote what you can do with a villain. He really did do something so different and so unique.
The meandering bowl cut of doom. It's like, but it's crazy that he looks like that.
Yeah.
Yet he's as scary as Darth Vader. Like, iconic bad guy silhouette. It's fucking great.
It's true.
I tell you what. Welcome to the podcast.
I ask you kindly to mind your P's and Q's.
P's and Q's, of course, means politeness and questions.
I guess that is what that means.
What else
Politeness.
could it mean?
Well, truly, I used to think it meant your pleases and then I just was like, oh, it can't, so I give up.
Peasants and queens.
Okay, that's interesting. It could be anything. It could be anything. I remember Troy saying it in Community so much. Georgia, the country, is much obliged. So good.
That's a great. I'm glad you referenced Community because today
so here we are throwing the pal. Who are you, Frank?
Frank, thanks for asking.
Yeah, cool. I'm Marcus.
I'm Tom.
And
we're talking about best westerns since the year 2000.
Oh my fucking god! The greatest westerns of the 21st century.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought we agreed on that title.
I don't know if we did, but I think it's always fun to kind of just come up with it in real time.
Yeah.
I think mine's better.
Yeah.
Like if we're going to argue about it.
Marcus, this was
no argument
from
here,
2000.
This was your pitch, Marcus, and I'm curious as to what made you want to ask this, because I have one tiny bit of context I want to get in about modern westerns, but what's your reason? But no, I want to ask you that first. What's your reason for being so interested in this topic?
I absolutely adore the western genre. If I gun to head was able to pick only one film to ever be in for the rest of my life ever, or say, Marcus, you can be in a Hollywood film tomorrow, it would be a western without question. So that's it, and I've always been drawn to it. They're not always hits for me, but generally I could watch even a western on the lower end of the spectrum and still sort of get enjoyment out of it, some level. I just enjoy the world building of it all. I just enjoy the dirtiness of it, the grit of it, the characters.
Would you say there's a nice pace to it in terms of they often feel relaxed or like hokey or?
No, definitely not relaxed. I don't think there's a western I've watched where you feel relaxed. I think it's a very tense setting always, whilst still being so cinematically beautiful.
Yes, the desert provides a lot.
I think it combines a lot of sort of very different energies that, to me, mix in such a chaotic nature that just works so well for me.
It's well said.
Yeah.
Great. No, sorry if you had more to say.
That's why I picked this. No, that was it.
I think it's a great call, man. And like, I don't think of myself often as someone who goes, I like this type of thing. Like, I really always have in my head, like, I like every type of movie. I'm just that kind of guy. Like, I don't know. I'm just really open-minded. God. And then I find myself thinking about this. I'm like, I do fucking love westerns so much. I really am quite drawn to them in the same way that I think you are, Marcus. But especially modern ones. I do find myself,
I'm the exact opposite. This conversation is already boring me to tears. And I'm looking through a bunch of lists to be like, oh my gosh. I'm like, yeah, Cowboys and Aliens, I guess, was kind of fun. Well, it's a shame that Wild Wild West was 99.
Okay. Knocking a lot of big ones off the list.
The Lone Ranger, I think.
Fuck. Okay, 3 for 3, Frank. Have you just got a copy of my list in front of you? Is that what
this has to be a bit?
This has to be a bit. This is me picking the best titles that I can think of, and then I'm reading them.
No, it's not.
What? Like, I don't care.
What do you mean, what?
I don't care for Django. Wow. I don't care for...
I love... My two favourite genres of all time are horror and western, and they're the two that Frank cannot stand.
Yeah. Isn't that why we started this podcast?
I guess.
You also were like, who are my two least favourite people of all time? I should chat with them about movies.
No, Tarantino is, the least favourite, and he's in this list a few times.
Saying for yours is least favourite.
Yeah, obviously, I hate you and Marcus as well. Is that what
all right, then we may surprise you, Frank, with some titles here that we'll come forward with.
Please,
I
enlighten me.
I want to throw a little context out, like I said, which is just quickly to say that obviously the westerns of the like 20s and 30s and all the way even through to like the 60s and the mid-era, the yesteryear, the John Ford and the John Wayne westerns, right? And obviously then
Wasn't John Ford the car guy?
John Ford was the car guy. You're right, absolutely. Who am I thinking of?
John Holden.
No,
John
you're
Peugeot.
right. John Ferrari, Juan Ferrari.
Yeah.
He only wanted one.
So Clint Eastwood, the Clint Eastwood era.
No, but I'm thinking of
Thank you, Marcus.
You're,
Get it
you're
back on
quite
track.
right. But the guy who made like Stagecoach and The Searchers and all, John. What the fuck was his?
Favreau.
No, you're thinking of Henry Ford. You motherfucker, Frank. You threw me off. It is John Ford. You piece of shit. Henry Ford is the car guy. You like. I can't believe you just gaslit me so hard. Then I'm having a panic attack.
I didn't gaslight you at all.
Because the second you said it, you were like, "I'm a fucking idiot." Of course it was. No, but like, yes, John Ford, the Western.
Can't handle one bit.
It's alright. It's a good bit.
Your poor intellect.
And John Wayne and all that, and then yes, Clint Eastwood. These are all movies that kind of dealt
Bruce
with.
Wayne? No, I'm sorry.
It's okay. These are all
Please
movies.
continue.
These are all movies that dealt with a certain like cinematic or established a cinematic iconography around westerns and the idea of the white hat and the black hat and like, you know, the Gary Cooper model where the guy defends the town from the rustlers or all this sort of stuff, right? And then Clint Eastwood, who was such a defining figure of it in the mid-20th century, kind of became disillusioned with it. And in 1992, he makes a movie called Unforgiven, which I'm not sure if you guys have seen. I actually haven't seen it since I was like a teenager, but it's a very good movie, but it's a very dark anti-western. And it essentially engages with all of these tropes of the Wild West that had been so prolific within film and asks, what the fuck are we doing here? Isn't this depraved? Isn't this kind of fucked up that we just took this land from people and we went out here because it was lawless and it was a country where men could be men and what we did was kill each other and we made the country that we live in today? Well done, America, right? And that's what Westerns sort of became from the late 90s onwards, and it's why the 21st century is such a fascinating look at Westerns, because they're all a little gnarled, and they're all a little disillusioned, and they're all a little sort of like cynical, while still having some of the ideals that those classic Westerns had. And I just think that's a really interesting thing, and I have to admit, that's the type of Western I love. The ones from the last 25 years. I do like the ones from back in the day. I like The Searchers, you know, but anyway.
Golly gosh, it's turned into a butler's pantry.
I'm so sorry, Marcus. You start with your Westerns that you like. You're right.
No, it's fine. I think more for Frank's sake now, knowing that he's super not into this or that, sadly, he's named a bunch that I really hadn't even thought of myself because to me, they hadn't qualified.
I've never seen Cowboys and Aliens or The Lone Ranger. I don't think I'm missing out on much.
You're missing out.
But you do... You've obviously got your classics, you've got your spaghetti westerns, revisionist westerns, you've got your neo westerns as well, all very stylized in their own sort of their own respects. But my list, I mean, we're talking about what I think think are the greatest westerns of the 21st century. So, Frank, what I've done is written a little list of the ones that resonate the best with me.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you just want to sort of riff off a couple here and we can keep going through it. Tom, if you've written down some.
Yeah, I got some.
Do it.
Yeah, I mean,
I would just be curious to when you think of this, you don't have to go, well, this is the best one, but like, what's the one that to you comes to mind immediately when you think of this prompt?
Well, I think one of the greatest westerns, and Tom, I think you agree on this, is that True Grit was so good.
That is, on any given day, no exaggeration, my favourite movie of all time. Like, I actually love that movie more than most members of my family. It is an incredible movie.
That's just more telling about you, isn't it?
And then my family, I guess. Yeah.
But Frank,
I love
that's the Coen Brothers remake, right? Of the classic.
Of the John Wayne, a movie
Jeff
that
Bridges,
no
Matt
one really
Damon.
thinks. No one thinks that much of the John Wayne one, even though he won an Oscar for it. But yes,
and introducing Haley Steinfeld as well.
Incredible performance in that film. But Marcus,
Is that introducing her in that?
That's her first role.
That's
crazy. Movie doesn't work if you can't find the 14, 15-year-old to pull that off, and she does. She's amazing in that
really
film.
does.
Marcus,
She's
we were
great.
talking off mic about Josh Brolin being a not cool guy. That's the movie. Josh Brolin he's Tom Chaney in that movie that Haley Steinfeld's
Okay.
hunting, and he's like, "Is that you, little Manny? Where I haven't seen you since a cotton picking minute." Like, he is so out of his depth. He's such a dumbass in that movie, which is unusual.
He's kind of doing a Jeff Bridges in a way.
Yes. The mealy-mouthed, can't quite get things out. But it's for a guy who is so often pretty cool, calm, and collected, and is a real, like, authority figure. He's such a dunce in that film in an interesting way, and I love that performance. I love every performance in that film. I think it's a masterpiece. I think it will live forever. And,
so that's top, is that top of your list, Tom? Is that top of your list?
That is the top of my list of cinema. Yeah, but also westerns. Yes.
Yep.
To me, so Frank, it surprises me that you wouldn't have thought of like 3:10 to Yuma, for example.
Not seen it.
A remake as well.
Yeah,
interesting.
I haven't seen True Grit.
Can we talk briefly about 3:10 to Yuma, man? Like what
if
stands
you would
out
like
to you?
to, yeah. Well, Christian Bale gives such a great performance in that. It's actually one of the last, I think, really, truly good performances we got out of Russell Crowe.
I think that's a good shout. I think it's 2008. It's right around that time where he doesn't have a lot left.
That's kind of it. That's all.
I mean, Thor: Love and Thunder obviously had huge Oscar buzz, apart from that.
Yeah.
But I think working alongside the likes of Christian Bale, you don't have an excuse as to giving in a poor performance. Like, you just can't.
And also Ben Foster,
and that is the reason I fell in love with Ben Foster as an actor as well.
He's such a freak in that. He's such a good freak, like that and Alpha Dog. He just shows up in movies and lends his weird meth energy to things in a way that I find so compelling. And I honestly, as much as I love Bale and Crowe in that, my first thought is always, fuck, Foster's a motherfucker in that movie.
What about Alan Tudyk? How's he in it?
Really? Is Alan Tudyk in that movie? Does he just do the
actually?
Guns? I think he just does the horses whinnying. I think every time they need it.
He plays Doc Potter. Don't know who that is.
Simple Jack. I think he was Simple Jack in it.
God, I gotta watch that movie again. I didn't remember Alan Tudyk was in it.
I mean, maybe I need to go on a little Western tear this week.
Frankie, let me throw this one at you then, and Tom, I'd like your thoughts on this. What I think is a very well-written Western, although not on a surface level defined as one, is Logan.
Yeah.
I mean, same director, right? The 310 Yuma.
James Mangold.
Mangold.
I think that is a fantastic iteration of what is a typical sort of Western story. Played out, and again, arguably one of Hugh Jackman's best performances of all time.
Seems like a lawless land. A guy has to defend a young girl, right? And he's at the end of his rope of a long career of hard drinking and all this sort of stuff. It's like, yes, that feels very Western coded. I agree with that, and I think it's a pretty good movie. I'm not as big a fan of Logan as its massive supporters are, but I like that movie. I like that movie a lot.
Guilty. Yeah.
We've got the likes of the assassination of Jesse James.
Again, maybe on any given day. No, it's not as big as True Grit, but I fucking love that movie.
By the coward John Ford? No.
Yes. Robert Ford. Henry Ford, sorry. It's Andrew Dominic film, just one of the most picturesque. Have you ever seen that, Frank?
No.
You would like that movie just based on the fact that you like train dreams. Really? Assassination of Jesse James is just as picturesque as a film fucking gets, in that same vein as Train Dreams. It is
even Train Dreams sort of qualifies in a way.
Train Dreams absolutely
really
qualifies
it's
as a
frontier.
Western. Yeah. You know, it doesn't have those same dimensions of shootouts and duels and robbers, but it has characters who have found or attempting to find meaning in a world that is taking shape around them quicker than they can account for. And that feels very much like a definition of the Western.
And Paul Schneider's in both.
He's so fucking good in oh my god. He puts a gun to fucking Casey Affleck's head while he's in a bathtub in that movie, and he goes, "I will knock on your door." And I think about that like that's my Roman Empire. That's a once a week thought. I just love Paul Schneider in.
Do you think of that every time you knock on a door?
Yeah, I will knock on your door. He's so good in that movie. He's so good.
What's the context? Is he actually going to kill him?
He's threatening him.
Don't tell me.
You have to watch that movie. You have to watch that movie.
Frank, I really think you might get a kick out of a lot of these movies. It just really surprises
now that I'm a
me.
bit more like, older and grizzled and
Sure.
Your tastes are changing. Let me. What I'm going to do, I'll riff off some films quickly, and then then you can talk about them at length, just because it will open up the conversation. I've written down There Will Be Blood. I've written down Appaloosa, which is a Viggo Mortensen, Ed Harris.
Ed Harris? I've never seen it.
I love that Western.
You should watch that movie.
I watched The Proposition with Guy Pearce. I just didn't get into it.
That's an odd movie. I like it, but it's so surreal and sort of meditative and doesn't really become as exciting as you want it to. But it's
classic Tom to be like, all right, I'm just going to, Marcus, I'll just reel some off in quick
I'm so sorry, you're right. You're
on every
You're 100% correct.
Okay.
Absolutely. Sorry.
For the same reason, The Rover as well might also almost qualify. The Rover.
Here's what I'll say about The Rover.
Robert Pattinson, he's actually all right in that.
I don't know The Rover at all.
No, it's
really
an odd film. And then we go Django for obvious reasons, Django Unchained. No Country for Old Men. We've also got Wind River, which is a tricky one.
Jeremy Renner?
Yeah, it is Jeremy Renner, and it's from the same writer it's Hell or High Water.
Yes, Taylor Sheridan.
Yes, Taylor Sheridan.
Yeah. Hell or High Water's great. That's a great modern western.
Hell or High Water is great. Wind River's not as good, but still a very enjoyable watch, especially for Elizabeth Olsen in that, who carries that film.
She's good.
Excellent.
Assassination of Jesse James, 310, No Country. No, that was it. That's my list.
You've named at least a handful of films there that could be considered one of the great American films, apart from True Grit and Assassination of Jesse James, because you've got No Country on there and you've got There Will Be Blood, right? The Coen brothers, No Country for Old Men, adaptation of the Cormac McCarthy novel, and then you've got There Will Be Blood, Paul Thomas Anderson, light, loose adaptation of Oil by Upton Sinclair. And both really seismic 2007 films that dealt with that energy of kind of the darkness of man, right? Existing within these weird, withered landscapes. And with huge performances from Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood and Anton Chigurh in, fucking Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men, Yeah. Great.
But
great
also,
films.
I mean, the whole cast. But I think that was a moment in time where it was like, wow, the modern western is back, and also film is back. I don't know if that's how you guys felt, but I think at my age then,
100%.
that was like, oh, it's cool to like cinema and film again. Like it was a turning point.
I try not to be too, when I was young, things were cool, and now they're bad. But the 2007 Oscars are insane. You've got No Country for Old Men, There Will Be Blood, Michael Clayton, Atonement, and Juno for Best Picture. That is actually a fucking all-timer line.
Is that back in there was only 5 for Best Picture?
That was when there was only 5. It was only a couple of years later they brought in the 10 because people were mad that Dark Knight didn't get a nomination the next year. But that is just one of those things where I'm like, I was right at the age where I started paying attention to this shit. And I was like, well, obviously movies are the greatest thing of all time. Look at this 5. And I don't care what people think about Juno or Atonement. Movies I love that some people don't. But Michael Clayton, No Country, and There Will Be Blood are like iconic films that have stood the test of time. It's so interesting. But sorry, on to Westerns. Marcus, is there one of those that you find we haven't talked about that you want to get a little bit more into? Django, for instance? Like, is there something about that you have?
Please talk about Quentin Tarantino's masterpiece.
I love Tarantino's very stylized take on what he did with that. Still very flawed at moments. Probably the worst part of that entire film was putting himself in it. I think that scene can absolutely still be cut.
Every time he's in a movie.
Yeah, he's not a great cameo in his films.
He's never been good.
That. No.
I don't disagree.
I don't really want to talk about Django. I think Django's a very talked about film. I think Django's one of the ones that people would think of first nowadays.
Well, I think 100%. I prefer The Hateful Eight, as you know. And that's a movie that I've just really always held a lot of water for. I rewatched it recently and realized that I was maybe a little obsessed with it when it first came out, and I watched it just over and over again. I still really, really love it. It maybe don't think of it as quite as loftily as I used to.
I just think it's the greatest stage play ever written. I don't think it deserves to be a film.
I still think it makes a lot out of its small environments and its beautiful framing and composition, and it's very, very clear adoration for the Western themes of put a bunch of guys in a room together who don't know each other and watch this thing start to simmer, which I found very compelling. I think it's a great movie. Jennifer Jason Leigh's incredible in it. Kurt Russell's incredible in it, But
I don't want to go on about too much. I think No Country for Old Men again it's an easy chat just because Javier Bardem just took he rewrote what you can do with a villain. He really did do something so different and so unique
The meandering
with that
bowl cut
movie.
of doom. It's like, it's crazy that he looks like that.
Yeah.
Yet he's as scary as Darth Vader. Like, iconic bad guy silhouette. It's fucking great.
It's true.
Great.
That movie's fantastic. The thing, and going back on my earlier point, you asked me what it is that I like about these films or this genre in particular, and it is very much what No Country achieves so well. It's that bottled tension. It's that you get that sharp mix, or even the Assassination of Jesse James does it very well as well, because you get such a beautiful mix of some of the strongest captures of cinematography of all time, mixed with this tense situation, with this unpredictability, the rawness of the nature of westerns, and not only the nature of it and the animals and the wilderness, but the people are so wild.
Yeah.
And because of the lawlessness of the story, it gives you so much room for development of character, I think.
You get to see people at their extremities. You get to see who they really are, because they're somewhere without boundaries,
And I think it really, for an actor, I think, how we have these actors who tick off the boxes of, hey, now you're doing your space movie, now you've got a boxing movie, you're doing your romance, all that. I think a Western is one of those things for some actors that they really should aim to tick off, because it's a playground for them as an actor to come up with potentially one of the most unique characters they'll probably ever play in their life.
Despite the fact that I agree with you, and yet I think the most interesting characters across those three films, all of which are from 2007, not to put too fine a point on it, but it was crazy that we got Assassination of Jesse James, There Will Be Blood, No Country for Old Men, all in 2007. And that the characters in those movies that are most interesting, the most subversive, because there's no one like Anton Chigurh. He's so weird and laconic and almost soft-spoken and methodical, but also weirdly vulnerable. Fucking Casey Affleck in Jesse James is so fumbling and awkward and sad, and I'm sorry you feel that way about it. Like, just talking into his own jacket and incapable of communicating effectively. And then in There Will Be Blood, the I'm an oil man, you see, the very John Huston gravel that Daniel Day-Lewis brings to it is just a facade for this fucking despicable anger that he holds towards humanity, right? All of them are so weird and so unusual, given what we expect of cowboys in country movie, Western movies, which is to be the soft, silent type, like Gary Cooper, like Clint Eastwood, like John Wayne, right? And these guys in those films are so weird. They're so weird in a way that I just find fascinating.
And these do link up to another genre and style of film that I love, which is, very much your sort of old Japanese cinema and your samurai films, and samurai 100%. Films are some of the best westerns you have around, like...
Gee, dear God, like obviously Seven Samurai and fucking Harakiri are just these great westerns, absolutely.
It's very much about, the Magnificent Seven as well, and things like that. You've got things that you can draw upon where it is either the reluctant or the lone hero versus many, the one versus many sort of scenario, or the underdog being protected, there's just so much you can do with it and so much you can explore with it. And again, it's that yin and yang of that beautiful sort of landscape mixed with the blood being spilled into it.
Yeah.
That I love so much about it. So that's the magic of it for me. That's why I wanted to talk about this today. But now I'm just a little sad because I really want Frank to explore more of that.
Well, Frank, you had something to say there, sorry, and I think we both cut you off.
Well, I was going to say, to your point, Thomas, you just reiterated that, it is an actor's playground, and some of the greatest performances we've seen have come from Westerns, because it has that amazing dialogue and amazing scenery and freedom to create interesting characters who are maybe less bound by the reality that we know today. I also want to just highlight a great film that I did think of is The Ridiculous Six. Really good.
Sure. I haven't seen it.
Western.
Is there not a I swear I've had this conversation on this pod or with someone else. Is there not a scene where John Turturro invents baseball in that movie?
Oh, I don't remember. I remember watching it just being
it would make sense.
There is a scene in an Adam Sandler movie where John Turturro invents baseball, and I don't know if it's from that film, but that's a funny scene. But I haven't seen the movie it's from. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Have either of you seen Holes?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
of course. The porno.
See, Holes to me somewhat qualifies as well in a weird way. It's a very isolated
I think so.
story.
I think you get that Western, or sorry, that sort of like American, Arizonan, Dakotan landscape. And
Sorry,
you're just
yeah.
like,
Sorry.
yes, that is a Western. Sorry, Frank.
Going back, John Turturro, yeah, there is a scene where
He invents baseball.
rules of
That's a
baseball.
funny.
Yeah,
that's a funny scene. That's a funny scene.
Don't remember it, so it can't be that good.
Holes, I think, is a good example. I want to throw out a couple of other weird ones that I thought about. Well, I'll go some of the more obvious ones quickly, which is the Coen brothers. Their last movie ever together was Ballad of Buster Scruggs, which is the Netflix anthology. Hey, that movie fucking rules, in my opinion. I think that movie is so good. I
found aspects of that film was engaging, and the anthology as a whole didn't work for me.
And I often, when I've spoken with people about that movie, not that a lot of people have seen it, it's kind of a bit of a forgotten one.
It's not the favourite Coen brothers for me.
It's not. And people are like, oh yeah, I liked that part, I didn't like that part, I didn't like that. I realised watching that, I was like, oh, I'll watch anything these guys make, and especially when it's in this milieu, when it's in a Western environment. Yeah. But obviously the James Franco bit's so fucking good, the Tim Blake Nelson bit's good, Liam Neeson and Harry Melling are in there together. First time, so funny. Just a really, really good one. Tom Waits has his own segment in it that's really great. But some of the less obvious ones, or ones that we haven't really tapped into, are, The Power of the Dog, Jane Campion's film from 3 or 4 years ago. Very much a Western.
I didn't mention it. It is a Western. I didn't mention it because to me it didn't...
You don't love that movie.
It just, not really. It didn't resonate enough. I enjoyed it. I got to the end of it and was like, okay, I'm glad I watched it, but boy, I don't think I'm ever going to rewatch it. I don't feel compelled to at all.
Such an anti-Western. Like, that is kind of the
very
epitome
slow.
of... Yes, and that idea of, like, these are men who have come out to the frontier to make something of themselves, and they have not in any way competently made up for their own insecurities, or they haven't found whatever they think will make them whole. And so they search for it in these really violent and impulsive ways. And of course, in the case of Benedict Cumberbatch's character, it's a very tragic reason why he feels like he can't be whole. But yeah, I think that movie deals with maybe some of the insecurities or the problems or the strange deficiencies that people might have had in those circumstances in a more honest and a really sad way. I like that movie a lot. I love Cody Smith-McPhee in it.
I think Kirsten Dunst is fantastic in that movie.
I think she is too. I think Jesse Plemons. I think it's one of those rare times where you're like, everyone got nominated for that film and that was the right call. Like, everyone was nominated for an Oscar in that movie.
It excited me the most just to see Kirsten Dunst kind of back. Like, not that she'd ever gone anywhere, but she kind of did. There was much of a hiatus for her.
There was a bit of a... I don't know if you
This
remember...
felt like a resurgence.
Do you remember Hidden Figures?
Yeah.
That's one of the strangest things where you're like, she's like ninth build in this, and I don't know why. Like, why is she in this role where she has maybe 12 lines? That feels like Topher Grace in Interstellar. I don't like it. I don't like what it portends. And she's back now, so it's fine. But that was a weird time.
I'm sorry, did you just compare her to Topher Grace?
Just when Topher Grace showed up in Interstellar, and you're like, oh yeah, I guess this is what you do now because you're that guy we used to know, and now you show up in Nolan movies with 8 or 9 lines, and it doesn't really matter, but you're Topher Grace. And I was worried that the same thing was going to happen to Kirsten Dunst, where it's like, oh, does she just show up in things with only a few
I don't
lines?
think they're the same level. Though.
I don't think so either, but that's what I see as the compare of, like, once you see someone in that role, you're like, oh, is this what they're preparing them for? That they're going to have to do? Because Topher Grace obviously is still doing that, basically. Yes. And Kirsten Dunst luckily broke out of that in Civil War and beautiful movies.
I guess. I still think it's a weird comparison. I don't want to drag it on.
I know what you mean. Kelly Reichardt's First Cow is a movie that I love. I know it's a bit of an indie shout, but it's a 2019 movie that John Magaro is in and Orion Lee. It's a beautiful film all about the frontier, and it's a Western in the sense that it is just about people trying to, again, establish some sense of community, find some sort of stability within an uncertain and precarious situation. It's a really lovely movie about friendship, but also it's a bunch of people. It's Rene Auberjonois in his last film role walking around being like, I'm a crazy Western guy. And you're just like, yeah, great. Do this.
Tom has just named 8 things that I don't know what you're talking about.
Rene Auberjonois, Marcus, is the name of Mr. House from Fallout New Vegas. Is the voice of Mr. House, Fallout New Vegas.
No, it's a gaming reference, Frank, sorry.
He's also
New Vegas.
He's also the chef in The Little Mermaid, the original animated one, who sings about the French guy. So, but anyway, it's like that's a really good one. And I think just to really cap this off for Frank, because I think he'll enjoy this, I think Kill Bill Volume 2 is a Western, and obviously we all know that. So like that's just something we have to accept.
I got excited for a second. I thought you were going to actually give me another recommendation.
But that is obviously a Western, and I think it's a very, very good one. Kill Bill.
Well, I'm gonna go watch True Grit, 310 to Yuma, and Assassination of Jesse James by the coward John Ford.
Please watch True Grit. That would make me so happy. I love that movie.
Calm down.
No, that would make me really excited for you. That would be a really lovely bonding thing.
Do you think that Sinners would fall into this category at all?
It's an interesting question.
No.
I think no, probably. But
Straight
like, if
answer.
someone were to say, you know what, that has a Western vibe, I wouldn't be like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, yeah, of course it does.
It's set back in ye olde days.
Yeah,
That's it.
It's playing.
No.
with- It's playing with certain themes that are prevalent within Westerns, and of course, like, it's unavoidable.
It is around that Prohibition era as well. It's
In the same way that saying the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a Western because it's set in the country
No,
town.
Hey, Frank,
Understood.
that's a good take. I like that. Tell me more.
I don't. I'm out of ideas and I'm out of gas.
Anyone who's never seen Deadwood should watch it. It's the greatest television show ever made. I know it's not a movie, but it's the greatest television show ever made, and it engages with the Wild West in such a fascinating way and gives us Timothy Oliphant and, all manner of people just getting to do that sort of thing. I also think kind of Looper is a bit of a Western. That's my other hot take, I guess.
Hayden Christensen.
Yes, Looper with Hayden Christensen, where he's like, oh, God, I wish I could stop tying these shoelaces so I could jump.
Jumper.
Wait a second, I'm a jumper. That's right.
I hate sand. It's so coarse.
Yeah. Star Wars 1.
Frank-
Yeah.
Frank, I'm surprised you didn't mention A Million Ways to Die in the West.
No, I don't like Seth MacFarlane.
Interesting. Oh,
Like, Ridiculous Six is bad, but at least I respect Sandler. Whereas Seth MacFarlane is just a twat.
Sure.
I think I have to kind of agree with you a little that Seth MacFarlane's become a guy that I'm like, oh, I don't like you.
Yeah.
And I think I used to, and I really don't now.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, he's had. I mean, we could talk about it, but like South Park boys still like them, even though.
I'm also a little out on them, but that's okay.
There is a
But not the
Western,
same as Seth MacFarlane, right?
a somewhat Western that we haven't spoken about, and because I have never seen it to this day,
Go on.
is Brokeback Mountain.
Oh my God.
yeah,
Beautiful
beautiful.
film. And you're absolutely right. I mean,
I also
it
found
is-
it a little boring, which maybe that is a Western. So yeah,
I think
it's
one of them
fair
was
choice.
boring into the other pretty hard in that one scene, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah. That was,
that's very good actually. In
You
terms of
actually-
wordplay. Yeah.
Thank you.
wordplay for gay sex. I'm okay with it.
You're okay with that.
Okay, that's where he's okay with
That's
it.
allowed. I think that's a beautiful movie, and yeah, it is obviously a sort of very romantic. And yeah, if we're talking about like Sinners in the era, like Brokeback Mountain really is taking place in the like early to mid 20th century. It's not.
Well,
really
it's a
the Wild
it's a
West.
tragic romance, which they don't really do with the Western sort of style, do they?
I mean, sometimes like they engage with that idea of like the guy not getting the girl in the end, right? And having to continue being the loner. But I think that Brokeback Mountain is obviously, kind of reflecting on the masculine ideals that prop up so many Westerns that become toxic and calcify and then harm people like Ennis and Jack in the film.
And their wives.
Sure.
And their wives. Beautiful
Poor
film.
Anne Hathaway.
And what's her name? Michelle Williams. Yeah, Michelle Williams.
Yeah, she's so good in that.
That is a great movie. I guess the last one I would make a shout out to is I actually really, really liked part 1 of Kevin Costner's 4-part, though we haven't seen any of the other 3 yet. Horizon, An American Saga Part 1 or Chapter 1.
Yeah.
I think that movie's actually really pretty good. I really, it's huge and really weird and a bit unwieldy, but I think that's a really interesting movie, and I would love to see parts 2 through to 4. I thought Costner was really cooking with that one. It was a cool movie. Yeah,
He's back.
he might be. I don't know. He's got Saudi money, so
He's got
fingers crossed.
Waterworld 2 coming out next year.
That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And waltzing with Dan's. No, Dan's is
Speaking
with
of great
wolves.
Westerns.
Hey Marcus,
Dan's
did you hear
and Tango with cats? There's got to be something there.
Tango and Cash?
The Revenant falls into this as well, but not a film that I like.
Yeah.
No, I don't
boring.
really like it either.
I've only watched half of it. I cannot be bothered.
I think it's a really overbearing movie. I might read because he gets
Overbearing.
just the bear is over him for
Yeah,
so much.
that's
of
good.
it.
Boring.
Boring. Sorry, over boring.
Speaking of boring, we are done here. We're
Hey
wrapping
Marcus,
up.
have
I
you?
think so.
No, don't worry. I'll ask him off mic. It's
Okay,
not
good.
important.
No, do it right now.
Okay, Marcus, have you heard about the Bloodborne movie?
No, yes. Yes, I
Okay.
have. Yeah.
So that's going to happen.
Really great.
So for anyone who cares about Bloodborne or any of the FromSoft film stuff,
Frank, you gave him permission to ask me
did.
this.
I didn't think it would be this boring.
the Elden Ring film sets, the Alex Garland movie.
Why is it that? It wasn't that gay sex.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Thanks for listening to Throw on the Power. My name is Frank.
My name is Marcus.
My name's Tom.
And that was Best Westerns from 2020. No. Wait, when? What's it called?
A Million Ways to Bore in the West.
A Million Ways to Bore. Hey, I'm Frank.
I'm Marcus again.
Meandering bowl cut of evil, is that what you call him? That was such a good
Classic
description of-
derail.
I love that. Meandering bowl cut, that's so funny. I like that.